I am really excited and happy today because for the first time ever in my dear podcast, Stories with Maya Zama, I have my cousin and actor Vishak Nair with me.
Because even growing up, I remember you were the oldest of us all,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And you were the mother hen. And after a while, I suppose life took us in our own directions. And now that we're all, grown up and independent and everything, we're all connecting on our own terms. I think that's a
Yes.
better way of putting
Yeah,
it, rather than
yeah.
within familial family settings, marriages and funerals and whatnot. We're trying to connect outside of that purview as well,
Yeah, yeah.
as individuals.
Okay. First things first, I'm very proud of you
Thank you.
for whatever you're doing,
Okay.
what you've achieved. Because my first question is that a lot of people get into these movies and entertainment industry unexpectedly. But I think you always had that in you, right? I remember watching your short film that you had sent. It's because nowadays you seem to be getting really meaty roles, and it's very interesting to see you from, being a Sanjay Gandhi and then the villain and. The stylish arc that they're giving you.
During that phase, 2018, 2019 is when I first went for therapy. I had sleepless nights. I was severely depressed. I remember us talking about it as well, I think around that time.
I wish to know more about how grief shaped you as an individual. First, I thought, should I ask this question about you losing your brother? Then I remembered, no, you have revealed about it in some interviews. Then I thought, okay, we get to a stage in our life when we can talk about anything, right?
It was me, your brother, and your dad. We stepped out of home very late at night, 11 or 12 or something. And
this is new information for me, everybody.
Yeah, so I used to go to her place as a kid for summer vacations in Munnar and spend a month or so there. And he took us out one night.
നന്നായി അവരൊന്നും ഇല്ലാത്തത് ഞാനിത് കാണിച്ചു വിട്ടുന്നൊക്കെ കാണാൻ. But otherwise, I see Amma sending signals. I feel it. Right below the studio, my dad's name was written. So I'm like, okay, fine. They're with me. They are supporting me.
Today, I'm a lot more vulnerable. I don't mind crying. You can ask my wife. I cry all the bloody time. But I think it's a release also. No, Gigi, I think bottling it up, it manifests in other ways. It manifests as anger more often than not.
Now, a question about cinema, movies. You were launched into this amazing movie, and I remember all of us going and watching as a family, and me feeling really proud of the fact that, oh my God, I know this guy, and he's so funny and he's so sweet and nice and endearing. So, in recent times, a lot of your videos with your wife about you talking to her, I don't know, hugging her, expressing something to her, all of that had gone viral with me checking the comments, and everybody is like, Vishak Nair is a POOKIE, Vishak Nair is a green flag. How old were you that time?
I was in 9th grade, so that's 15 years of age.
Oh, you were 15, okay. Because I remember this as this big family tragedy, and all of us were mourning for a long time.
Understanding that, remove the tag wife, remove the tag of your partner. This is a human being. If you can see that human being for who that human being is, and think of her or him as a friend first, more than a wife or a partner, I think that level of friendship is what allows for all of these things to bloom.
Absolutely.
All these conversations to happen.
Yeah. So certifying Vishak Nair is indeed POOKIE. Can you call one of them, your friend, mentor, anyone whom you feel is really close, and say love you or thank you?
Of course, why not?
Okay, let's try that.
Most of our friends are going to be honest, no? Even if it's Roshan or any of us, we are always like very open about how much we love each other.
Hello everybody, I am really excited and happy today because for the first time ever in my dear podcast Stories with Maya Zama, I have my cousin and actor Vishak Nair with me. Welcome, Vishak.
Thank you.
I call him Achu. We all call him Achu, but we'll stick to Vishak.
Yeah, and I call you Tuttu, so we'll stick to Swati, I guess.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me that. Okay. So today I have a bunch of questions to explore. Um, who is Vishak Nair as a person, as an actor, as a husband, as a spiritually evolving human being? So I think I will also get to know you better through this interview, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think it'll be a good conversation back and forth.
Yeah,
Let's see.
because growing up, I remember all these cousins were really, really, really young and small. And of course, I was also young. But even during teenage or young adulthood, I've never really interacted with a lot of cousins. One, because we were all away
Here
and
there,
far. Yeah, that is there. Then I couldn't, somehow, ages didn't catch up, no? Now, I think all of us are in our 30s.
We're reconnecting now for
Yes,
some reason.
yes,
Alle.
yeah.
I think, I think it's interesting because even growing up, I remember you were the oldest of us all,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And you were the mother hen. And after a while, I suppose life took us in our own directions. And now that we're all, grown up and independent and everything, we're all connecting on our own terms. I think that's a
Yes.
better way of putting
Yeah,
it, rather than
yeah.
within familial family settings. Marriages and funerals and whatnot. We're trying to connect outside of that purview as well
Yeah.
as individuals.
Okay. First things first, I'm very proud of you
Thank you.
for whatever you're doing,
Okay.
what you've achieved. Because my first question is that a lot of people get into these movies and entertainment industry unexpectedly. But I think you always had that in you, right? I remember watching your short film that you had sent. Me and Arvind, both of us watched it, a movie on football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you were always destined to get into this, right? You were dreaming about it for a long time. So talk about dreams coming true now.
I don't think all of them have come true. I think that journey, it's been a long journey, 10 years since I started doing this professionally. But I mean, the seeds of that dream were planted when I was very young. Very, very young. I think 13, 14 years of age is when, this itch started at the back of my head. And after trauma and grief hit our family, this was an outlet for me, cinema, because it was something that my brother and I shared very deeply. And this was something that was a way of honoring him and remembering, those moments that we had together. And I think that really gave it meaning, and it still gives meaning because of that, because, virality and popularity and fame and all are good, but that's not why I do this, and when I catch myself being bogged down by those kind of things, by those metrics by which, an entertainer is compared on a day-to-day basis, your follower count and all of those things. Whenever those thoughts enter my head, I kind of have this center to come back to, why I started doing this in the first place. And so dreams are coming true. And I think I'm very happy with this journey that's happened so far. Immense learning, both as an artist, as an individual as well. And I hope, this journey continues just like this going forward.
Yeah, let it. Now, yesterday was Father's Day.
Yeah.
And you're not yet a father. We'll do another podcast when you become a father. But I wish to ask about your childhood. The relationship with your father, what it taught you about how men should be like, how much they should emote. Because I'm a big proponent of men's mental health also, which you might have been seeing on my feed. It has evolved over the years from parenting information, lactation information, postpartum, predominantly women's issues. And now I'm really passionate about men's issues also. So men's mental health, relationship with the father, the connect that you have had, how much you have bonded, how important is that versus what are you seeing around you?
Right. So I think my relationship with my father, it evolved in stages. When I was very young and, primary school, secondary school, during that time, my father, he was, for lack of a better way of saying it, working his ass off. He was, he was working extremely hard and so was my mother. And during that time, I don't think we really bonded as individuals. Maybe as father and son, yes, of course, we had our traditional father-son relationship. But beyond that, I think we became friends after I came of age, after I went to college, when he also retired, and we had time to bond on a more intimate level as two individuals as compared to being just father and son. And I think that has brought our relationship closer together. It has made a lot more stronger because now I see him for the individual that he is, and he sees me for the individual that I am. Yes, of course, we have our differences of opinion, but at least now we're able to see each other as two people rather than these archetypes of, son and father. I think that's very important when it comes to relationships, especially with your parents, when we put them on this pedestal and we glorify or we deify them in a certain way. But understanding them as human beings kind of helps us empathize with why they did the things they do, did the things they did, and continue to do the things that they do even now, even though some of those things may not be exactly on the same page as you are. Great learnings from there as well. I think, anyone who's been to therapy will tell you that, the first thing they tell you is because this is of this childhood trauma and that childhood trauma and that and this and everything. And I feel it's good to understand that and identify that, okay, this is why it happened. But to just blame it on them and run away from your problems, I feel is escapist on some level. But I feel empathizing with them helps you forgive them, which helps you heal yourself as well. And that journey took time. And I think our relationship today is, of mutual respect and understanding because, of that process of understanding each other as individuals, because of my journey through, therapy and whatnot at a certain age in my life. And it helped. And I think now we listen to each other much better. And I think that's the most important thing, to be able to listen patiently. And it's in a good place right now, our relationship.
That's nice.
With regards to how it feels and how it is to behave as a man, I feel not just him, but a lot of father figures who've entered my life at different points of time have taught me different things about what it means to be a man. Your father taught me something very important at a very young age. He was a person...
My father?
Yeah, your dad. I still remember, I have that visual stuck in my head. It was me, your brother, and your dad. We stepped out of home very late at night, 11 or 12 or something, and...
This is new information for me, everybody.
Yeah, so I used to go to her place as a kid for summer vacations in Munnar and spend a month or so there. And he took us out one night, and he on that night made us look at the stars, and he told us about the stars, about the universe, and he told us about UFOs, and he told us about millions of galaxies and how we're just a speck in the infinite universe. And that, and he taught us about ESP. He taught us about the sixth sense, and he taught us about so many different topics which I didn't have any exposure to till then.
It's so nice to think of my father that way from another person.
Yeah, but what a man he was. And he, I think, on some level, taught me the power of curiosity and the fun that comes with being curious. And because those are topics and subjects I had absolutely no idea.
He was the first conspiracy theorist I
Oh, yeah. and I love that. So I suppose, a lot of such father figures. I've been very lucky to have these mentor figures, these male archetype figures come into my life at different points of life and teach me different things. And yeah, your father was one of them.
How interesting, Ella. As a child, you look up to, especially boys look up to men, and we women try to emulate the women around us. So how important it is to be that good role model as much as possible, Ella.
Yeah.
Though we are flawed.
Yeah.
Something if you can impart to a child, even if it's not yours. I make sure I do that with my friends' kids also, my value systems and all. I keep sharing.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of an impact it might have.
Yeah, definitely. Because you don't know what sticks, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a very young nephew. His name is Adi. And, I love spending time with the dude because, the kind of questions that comes out of his mouth, and I love, sitting and explaining things to him. We've spoken about black holes and quantum theory and stuff, and he's what? He's 8, 9 years of age, but he's curious. He's very curious, and I love that about him. And if he asks me something about even the most simple subject that I don't know the answer to, I find joy in telling him, I don't know, Macha. I'll get back to you. And those interactions really, I think, are very fruitful. It really gets you a better perspective on a lot of things in life. And I feel, as an individual and also very selfishly as an artist, I need to know what kids are thinking and feeling nowadays, and up to date or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that exchange, you never know what sticks, like you said.
Yeah, true. Speaking of childhood, I wish to know more about how grief shaped you as an individual. First, I thought, should I ask this question about you losing your brother? Then I remembered, no, you have revealed about it in some interviews.
Yeah.
Then I thought, okay, we get to a stage in our life when we can talk about anything, right? So maybe you are ready to have that conversation, and that's why you've been sharing about it also. So I wish to hear a version of it. What happened? How was it when you were growing up versus how is it now? Did you deal with grief as a young person, or are you dealing with it now as an older person? Or how do men generally deal with grief?
So, I mean, we'll start that question from the last thing that you said. How do men generally deal with grief, right? So, when it did happen, and that was back in 2007, when it did happen, I was expected to be the big boy. I was expected to hold on the fort. Not
And
just from.
sorry to interrupt. How old were you that time?
I was in 9th grade, so that's 15 years of age.
Oh, you were 15, okay. Because I remember this as this big family tragedy, and all of us were mourning for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So I was around 15, 9th grade, 9th, 10th grade, around that time. And so yeah, I mean, not more. It wasn't people. Yes, there were people telling me that you need to hold down the fort. You need, you shouldn't cry. You shouldn't, be low. You should be supportive of your parents. Let them grieve. And on some level, I told myself that as well. And there was a lot of shutting off, which I think is what men kind of revert to as their default setting when it comes to grief. And I think it's because of a lot of external factors as well that we've been programmed to think and behave in that way. But also something very interesting happened. I mean, the night off, after all of the charanga and whatnot was done, I remember lying down and looking up at the ceiling and promising to myself and to him that whatever happens henceforth, whatever life I lead henceforth, will be for the both of us. And to me, that was a way of keeping his memory alive, and also a way of, I think, processing it. To go through those 5 stages of grief at once is not possible. It takes time, and I think in my early romantic relationships, and the first romantic relationship that I had as well, I thought maybe this could replace that. Which is a weird and not so right way of thinking about it, because there is, a hole in your heart and you just want to fill it with something that gives you comfort and love.
Yeah.
But I later realized that that's not the right way of looking at it, because nothing can replace that. And you can't fill it with something else. You have to acknowledge it and let it heal on its own, at its own pace. So I think complete acceptance of the fact came only much later. When I was maybe 3 or 4 years later is when I finally, made my peace with the fact that, this has happened. And, there is a sense of purpose that exists to this day to my life because of that.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm looking at, I'm not trying to romanticize it. It's just the way that I have in some way processed it in what I think is a constructive way. And I think grief today is something that I'm a lot more comfortable dealing with. Not just about my brother, but whatever other form of grief might come up. Today I'm a lot more vulnerable. I don't mind crying. You can ask my wife. I cry all the bloody time. But I think it's a release also. No, Gigi, I think bottling it up, it manifests in other ways. It manifests as anger more often than not. Sometimes you're really sad and you can't get it out of your system. You just want to lash out or something. You act in a violent or angry way. that's unproductive. That's
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Yeah.
You shouldn't cause harm to another person just because you're hurting. Crying is a beautiful way of getting it out of your system. Going and having a nice workout is another way of getting it out of your system. Channeling it into your art is a gift or a luxury that I have because this is what I do for my, for a living. But even if that is not your, vocation, I feel art is a beautiful way of getting it out of your system.
Yeah.
Because your body stores this on some level is what I feel. It carries it. It manifests as physical ailments. On some level, I've had it. I've gone through that process. And somewhere on some level, you understand that it's all in the head. And once you fine tune it or readjust in some way, these ailments magically seem to disappear.
Yeah.
So I think, getting it out of your system is very important.
Yeah. Nicely put. And I also believe you need to really go through something to understand it better, right? For example, I can't sit and complain that having lost both my parents, my partner is not able to empathize in the right way or support in the right way
Yeah.
or sit with me very comfortably when I'm crying, grieving. I also grieved both of their passing in the last 4-5 years only. Not before that. I was running away from that. And talking about parenting and all that is my way of not romanticizing again, but processing it. And to a large extent, I also feel they are not around, so I'm more comfortable to talk about it. That's also there. Yeah. നന്നായി അവരൊന്നും ഇല്ലാത്തത് ഞാനിത് കാണിച്ചു കൂട്ടുന്നൊക്കെ കാണാൻ. But otherwise, I see Amma sending signals. I feel it. Right below the studio, my dad's name was written.
That's beautiful, no?
So I'm like, okay, fine. They're with me. They are supporting me. So yeah, what I was talking about was how I can't expect my partner to deal with something that he has no clue about.
Yeah.
Both his parents are there.
Yeah.
So I can't expect him to understand grief like how I do. So that was also a huge learning for me, that I need my women folk, I need my community, I need to grieve elsewhere where people really understand it. And I guess that might be one place where therapy might help people because, they are people who are trained to listen and make you go through that process. So, would you suggest therapy to men?
I would.
Because they are not good at really talking and
about
verbalizing
it.
things, right?
Yeah, and I feel more often than not, we need a safe space to just not be judged. I feel as especially men, I feel that weight of judgment hangs very heavily on our shoulders. I'm sure it's for women as well, but in a different way for men. About
But at least if we sit in that corner and cry, no one will ask anything. But you guys can't.
We can't. Oh, we can't. I mean, in a certain way, it's thought of as being weak. It's thought of as being less of a man.
Yeah.
But who are you trying to prove? I mean, what's the point in living in that life or in that lie if you're not helping yourself or you're harming yourself, in fact, So I think therapy definitely is a good outlet. I don't think it's like having a dolo and fixing your problems. It's not that. I feel it's the start of a process of introspection. I feel getting it out of yourself, out of your system kind of opens the doors to more questions about yourself as a person, about the way you deal with your emotions, about the way you process pain and anger and all of those things. And I think therapy shows you the way, and you have to walk the path. You have to be it through whichever path that you walk through. I don't know, music, art, spirituality, getting a six-pack, whichever way. But then in a healthy way, if you can channel that into a journey of introspection and self understanding and self-knowledge, I think that's a very, very good thing that people should come out of that, a little bit of a stigma about therapy and about all of those things. It's a very normal thing in today's day and age. In fact, especially the younger generation have been very open to the idea of going for therapy and seeking help when they need it. I feel it's my generation and the generation before mine who are yet to completely open up to that idea. Maybe again because of the stigma associated with it. I don't know why, but I think
we need to romanticize that. Huh?
It is.
I'm going to therapy should be a thing.
But you see, the thing is, I have a slight itch with that as well, because if you romanticize it too much, like I was saying earlier, I'm going for therapy is almost looked as a way of painting yourself as a victim.
Huh, that's also there. Yeah.
Wherein it should be the opposite. It should be a way of empowering yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because what are you doing? You're basically understanding who you are and what you are as a person. And once you know that and you understand all of the baggage you're carrying, all of the programming, all of the natural gifts and affinities that you have as an individual, then that kind of unlocks something in you.
Yeah.
And it's truly empowering. So I think in that way, if you can look at it as a method to better understand and improve upon yourself, then there's nothing to be, shy about going to
Yeah,
therapy or
yeah.
anything.
But again, one more thing is, on a serious note, if someone says, I'm going to therapy, it also makes people around them feel better that, this person is taking help. They are not
Yeah.
going to cling on to me for dear life. Because
Yeah.
a lot of women in my generation say that the husband wants everything from me.
Yeah.
I'm the friend, I'm the safe space. Of course I can be that, but then he doesn't have any friends of him, himself. He does not have any hobbies, nothing is nourishing him, he's not going anywhere, there is no me time. It's all on me. That's also a
a lot
huge
to
load
take.
to
Yeah.
bear for the woman.
Absolutely. I mean, and that can, like you said, it's not just therapy. I feel like boys should hang out with boys once in a while,
Oh,
because
they should,
it's
they must.
you must. I mean, boy time is important, just like how girl time is important for you guys.
Yeah.
I think, that sense of, because that I don't know. I mean, we are cavemen at the end of the day, right? And you have to be
Yeah.
with your tribe and monkey
Yes.
around and do something that you can only
Yes,
do around the
yes,
boys,
yes.
and that's a safe space in its own.
And I also feel men are not having a lot of fun, in my generation at least.
Really?
They're so guilty when they have fun.
Huh.
Of course, there is probably a population that is okay with it, but a lot of people whom I am associated with, they feel I should be responsible and productive all the time.
That I kind of agree as well. I mean, because I used to think that way once upon a time. Where do I deserve this fun? Do I deserve this happiness that I'm getting? Okay, I'm stepping out to have a beer with my boys, but have I been productive for like a week? Okay, if I haven't been, then I don't deserve this. And it took me a while to understand that it's okay, dude. You can, you deserve it. You can chill. You don't need to be firing on all cylinders at all at all times. And I think today there's this, I don't know what the trend is, but Andrew Tate and all of these gentlemen who've romanticized this idea of being a certain kind of man, who's hyper productive and really, I mean, do you really want to live your life, living on at that pace every single day? I don't know you need to stop and smell the flowers once in a while,
Absolutely.
ideally with your boys. So if you can, it's a good thing. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that feeling of guilt of have I been productive? Am I wasting my time? That's true.
Because these days, a lot of people invite me for sessions on digital parenting. Like I was just telling you, everyone wants to know what is the impact of this much of screens on children's attention span, or generally on their emotional health, etc., etc. And one point that people like me keep talking about is children need to see the adults around them sitting idle, sitting simply also in between, right? If we always make sure that we're doing and not really being, that also gives them a wrong idea of what it means to feel worthy. I need to always keep myself productive to feel worthy. Should not be the case. For example, I am consciously trying to incorporate it as a daughter of a working mother. It was so hard for me to just sit idle, but nowadays, last 2-3 years, I've just made it a point that I will just sit down, look at my cat play, or look at the grass or the flowers, or just sit outside in the sun not doing anything, and I want her to see that.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important to set those examples. I mean, I'm not a father yet, but I am waiting to be one, and I'm hoping to be one, sometime soon. And I can't wait for that journey, because it's I think they absorb everything that you showcase, right?
so much,
More than
yeah.
we realize, right? And I have friends now who, basically grew up with me, who are parents today. And it's interesting to see the different parenting styles.
Yeah.
All of them are, imbibing and incorporating.
I know you're not a parent, but is there something that is triggering you when you see things around that this shouldn't be the case?
When I see parents telling their kids how to be, that this is right and this is wrong, and you shouldn't be asking such questions. And it's okay. I mean, the child is like curious, let him fall, let her bruise her knee, let them, figure it out for themselves. And they're not like, absolutely.
You won't protect them
You don't need
all
to
the time,
you don't
every
need to
time.
cocoon them. You don't need to hold them. Let them be. And there is, of course, knowing the dangers of social media, doing all of these things. A lot of countries have now banned social media for preteens, and which is great, right? And I think knowing these things, I have friends who are like, avoiding screen time till the age of 3, till the age of 4. And it's harder for them to follow up on that than it is to
Yes.
impose it on the kids.
Yeah.
And I know how difficult it is for him. He's a football fan, and he goes to the bathroom and he spends 2 hours in the bathroom because he wants to watch his match, and he doesn't even want the kid to know that he's on his phone. And it makes me very happy, and at the same time a little scared to know that, okay, that's the kind of effort that one might have to put, because we have to lead by example. And the one thing that irks me is stopping them from asking questions is I think one thing.
Good. You'll be a good dad.
I hope so.
Now, a question about cinema, movies. You were launched into this amazing movie, and I remember all of us going and watching as a family, and me feeling really proud of the fact that, oh my God, I know this guy, and he's so funny and he's so sweet and nice and endearing and all of that, yeah. And then I also remember you had a phase when you probably didn't have a lot of projects coming, or you were not really happy with what was happening. So success, failure, or okay, failure, I don't have any other word, so I'm just using failure. But things where times where things are lagging, and then you don't know what exactly is going on, you don't know whether it'll pick up, and then after a point of time again success, because nowadays you seem to be getting really meaty roles, and it's very interesting to see you from being a Sanjay Gandhi, and then the villain, and the stylish arc that they're giving you, and the simpleton that you can be, things like that. So considering men associate again their productivity and worth with success, and the difficulty to handle failure, rejection, shame, all of that, how did you handle that during that interim time?
Oh, that was very hard. That was very, very hard because, again, because I was trying to be hyper productive. I actually wrote down my year-wise plan for, by the end of, I debuted in 2016. I don't know, I think 2018, one state award, 2020, one national award, 2022, I won this, 2024, I won that. And I had it charted, because that's what people told me, make a plan, write it down, all of that stuff. But life had other plans, and it was, like you said, a combination of two things. One, I wasn't happy with the kind of roles I was getting, and two, it was me asking myself whether, is this really why I started doing this? And somewhere, because it's a race, you somehow get swept in that, competition, in that race. I did 6-7 films in a matter of 1.5 years at that time, trying to do as many films as I can, trying to be as popular as I can. I think the most important thing at that point for me to realize is, what is my definition of success? Because at that point I realized that I'm trying to measure my success along the same metrics that other people were measuring their success with, and it's not the same for everybody. Right? For most people, it is getting a stable job, it is having a house, it is having a wife and a kid, and that's it. One thing, again, a word that I really don't like using is settled. Is to get settled. That's their definition of success. But what is your definition of success is something that I had to ask myself at that point of time. And that's probably when I realized that this is not the right path to that point that I want to get to. So there was, yes, a pulling back from my side of not taking as many projects.
Okay.
And obviously because of that, there's a snowball effect where people stop calling you as often because
you need to stay relevant.
You need to stay relevant also, right? Especially at that stage of your career. Today I have the luxury of picking and choosing a lot more, because I know for a fact that if not this, I can, maybe wait a few more months and something might come which is more interesting. And that's a luxury. That's an earned luxury. That's not something that, a newcomer has.
Yeah.
Right? During that phase, 2018, 2019 is when I first went for therapy. I had sleepless nights. I was severely depressed. I remember us talking about it as well, I think around that time. And it was
Yeah.
one of your friends,
Yeah.
God bless his soul, who came to help at that point of time. And it was a difficult phase, Gigi. I mean, sleep had gone out the window. Forget productivity. I couldn't even think straight. It was this constant crippling pressure of, I need to be, the X and Y, but at the same time, I'm not happy being X and Y. So what am I doing here? I quit my job. I gave up on my, engineering degree. I could have done my MBA. What am I doing? What am I doing? So it was all of those things put together, and it required like it taking back. I think a loss of control is what scared me the most.
Okay.
Because in this industry, in the cinema industry, in the film field, control is not something that you can always exercise. There's too many variables that are outside of your control that if you're not comfortable with letting go of, you might end up, losing your mind. So that period really helped me understand what is within my control and what is not. Now today, if a film comes out, which I had tremendous hopes for, and it doesn't work out, I know that I did my bit. I did my part. I did my bit. I did it to the best of my abilities. And if it didn't work out, then maybe there are things that I can't control because of which the film didn't work out.
Okay.
But the only thing I have control is about the quality of the product, of the performance, of the film, of my performance, whatever it is. Those are the things, the 20-30% that is within my, control, my karma, or whatever you want to call it. Other things you can't control.
Yeah.
And that's something that took me a while to understand with regards to this particular industry. I think the safety cushion that comes with a 9 to 5, wherein at the end of the month you get your paycheck, that is not there here. You know that if you work in a company for 2 or 3 years, you might get a promotion. That is not there here. You might be, on top of the world today, and cut to a couple of months later, no one might even think about you. It's very fleeting, very, very temporary, very superficial thing, fame,
Yeah.
And I realized then that I was chasing fame. I was chasing that. And I was trying to make sense out of that. And I was trying for that to give myself meaning. Once again, I had to come back to why I started doing this in the first place. Why? Because I goddamn love it. I love every second of being in front of the camera or behind the camera or writing on on my laptop or on a piece of paper or just pacing around my apartment thinking of stories, whatever it is. It's that creative process. And more importantly, the most addictive feeling in the world, which is that flow state of being there, of everything else is just going away. And people have romanticized and talked about this in 100 different ways.
Yeah.
It's there in racing movies. It's there in movies about artists. It's there about, about any kind of task where you have set boundary conditions and you have rules and limitations set for yourself and you're trying to reach peak performance within those boundary conditions. That is addictive. So I realize that chasing that is the most honest thing I can do. So today, be it, on a set behind or in front of the camera, or if I'm in front of a laptop writing something, I think that feeling, as long as I'm chasing that feeling and I know that I've hit that note, that feeling, I can go to bed happy. It doesn't matter if I have 1 million followers or 2 million followers or whatever. That can happen. It might happen when it happens. And I know it will happen, but the timeline is not in my control. So, yeah.
So are there exciting things coming up?
A lot of exciting things coming up.
Are you thrilled for life?
Very, very thrilled for life. And honestly, it took me 10, 11 years to get to this point in my career where I am genuinely excited for each and every one of the films that I'm doing, not just from a commercial or, cinema on the law point of view, from point of a self-actualization point of view, wherein this is the kind of films or this is the kind of stories that I want to be a part of, and the kind of roles that I want to do. That's happening now. And I'm very excited about this phase in my career. There's a very nice show coming out on Netflix in which I play one of the leads with Kirti Suresh and Radhika Apte and
Nice.
wonderful cast. So that's the next release, the big one, and I'm hoping that does well. And if it doesn't,
Amazing.
it's a learning, and
It will.
we
It
move
will.
on. That's it.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. What is here reflects outside.
There you go.
So, in recent times, a lot of your videos with your wife about you talking to her, I don't know, hugging her, expressing something to her, all of that had gone viral with me checking the comments, and everybody is like, Vishak Nair is a pookie, Vishak Nair is a green flag. Look at how he's holding his wife, look at how he's talking to her. Those comments are all very happening. And I also saw in a couple of interviews that you did afterwards, people had asked you those questions. So something reflected from those behind the scenes. It was not evidently, you guys were not doing anything. It was just something that happened backstage that people captured, and then people saw something in it. So men expressing love, vulnerability, being in a relationship, and you've also told in one of your interviews that you listen to your wife's advices. She told me this, so it must be for my good. I just followed it, and then she told me about boundaries, and I'm following it. All of that, that's a big deal in today's times, Vishak, especially because I am not seeing it
No,
in
I
many
didn't think so.
places.
I was so surprised, Chechi, when all of that happened because I thought this is, how it is.
Well, it
Honestly.
is not.
Okay.
It's not a common thing that men really validate and acknowledge their partners all the time. I don't know in your, okay, you're kind of in my generation now, but yeah, I don't see that a lot.
I mean, I don't know. Because I can speak for the friends that I know personally, and I know the relationships that they share with their partners, men and women. I think, more than anything, we tend to, at least the people I know very well,
Okay.
we tend to see our partners as, our best friends as well. Like today, if someone asks me who my best friend is, I know I have my boyfriends and, all of that, but truly on a soul level or whatever, I would definitely say that it's my partner. Not because I need her for everything or I need her to be everything at once, but that honesty, I feel, and the empathy that she brings to the table, and I hope that I bring to the table also, is something that is very precious, Richi. I don't think that's easy to find, and I think if it's anything, I think it's a blessing to find, or it's extremely I'm extremely lucky to have found someone like that who not only understands this world but also understands how to navigate it. And it's not easy, and sometimes it's harder on my family than it is on me, because when they see certain things that they don't like, or and they can feel jealous, they can feel happy, they can feel sad, and they're also running this whirlwind of emotion with me as well.
Yeah.
And I too saw those comments, and yeah, it felt nice, and at the same time there were a lot of people saying that ഇതൊക്കെ വെറും show ആണ്, and this is a facade and it will collapse. If it collapses or not is not the question, and it's not a facade to begin with. And yes, what you saw that day is real, but just as real as that are the days where we are not doing good with each other, right? And those moments where we don't really want to talk to each other, where we want our alone time, then we come back and we fight and we get to a consensus, and then we hug it out, and then we get on with our lives, and that's a very normal part of a relationship as well. Now, I can't put a camera in my house and stream that to the world, and that's not the image that we're trying to portray either. And it's not about even being a certain way in public, right? There have been times where we've been in public and we were actually probably had an argument in the car, and we got out and we, there's a camera on our face.
I can understand that. Sorry to interrupt once again, but I think it is also because of the fact that you are an expressive man generally, maybe as a personality, or because of the influence of you being in movies and you going through the the layers of being a human, of being that character, or something has made you like that, or you are like that. It's very rare to see men expressing like that about what they learned from their wife. So if you can just share something that you learned, boundaries or anything from her, it would help the young men watching to have a reference point of How is it to really acknowledge your partner's presence in your life? Because my generation men, they see everything as nagging.
Right.
Whatever the wife says, she is picking my brain. She's just nagging me all the time. So how do you?
No, let me ask you this, Rishi. I mean, it's because it's your wife that you think it's nagging, correct? If you're at work and your boss, who you have to report to every single day, gives you feedback,
I use this
even if you
example and all.
don't like it, no one likes getting feedback. No one likes listening to someone say that you're wrong or you can do this better. But if it's someone to whom you have to listen, give you feedback, then you will take it and you will work on it because what you think is that you have something to gain from it. But here is someone who has absolutely nothing but your best interests in mind.
Yeah.
Telling you that, Baba, listen, if you can do this a different way. And I'm sure after this interview, she'll have feedback for me as well, which is great. Because I need, I appreciate that presence in my life. Because I need, you're constantly surrounded, especially in my line of work, you're constantly surrounded by people who may not have your best interests in mind, who might give you the highest of praise in front of you and then go behind you and talk something else. So you need someone, especially in my line of work, who's brutally honest. If I've done a good performance, if you've given a good performance, she's the first person to tell me that I've done a good job. If I've done a bad job, she will, castrate me for it. She will tell me that I've done a bad job in a loving way. And I'll argue with her. I'll be like, no, but no. And she's like, yeah, you're right, whatever. But the audience doesn't know the reasons for why your performance wasn't good, no? So just bear it in mind and you can perform, better the next time. The way I present myself in public. A feedback that she's given me a lot of times, and I really value it, is that you try to come across as this extremely likable, person, almost dumbing yourself down for the benefit of others. Don't do that. Be authentically you. Try and be your, the energy that you have normally when you're, not trying to interact with an interviewer on that level and trying to make things fun and everything. You can be calm. You can do whatever your, normal personality would do in with the same energy that you do. You don't need to try too hard. Is something that, that she told me. And I, initially I was like, no, it's not like that. But then after thinking about it, I realized that I have a people-pleasing tendency. And the reason for it is again, it may not be just my childhood, but it could be rooted somewhere else. Why do I have it? How do I break out of it? Is there something that I can, cheat my body into believing that I've broken out of it? There are a lot of techniques where, like, if you it's an acting technique where if you breathe in a certain way, if you tense a certain muscle, if you do a certain thing, your body, it kind of tells itself that it's feeling that emotion. It's like, a way of hacking the system into actually feeling that emotion. So if you can do that in acting, why not do that, like, in life as well? Why not lie to yourself about the fact that no, and that's what manifestation or affirmation basically is, right? Even if you don't genuinely feel that, I'm the most powerful or confident or beautiful person in the world, say it 50 times, say it 100
Fake it
times.
till you make it.
Fake
Yeah.
it till you make it. So all of that feedback is very important, I feel. And I think that see, no one is perfect. And the moment you get feedback, especially from your wife, and you think that, oh, she's trying to nag me and try to make me something that I'm not, you need to understand that, that may not be the intention. But at the same time, you also need to understand where your own judgment has to come into play. Where you need to, like, understand that, okay, baby, I get where you're coming from. But maybe that's something that, I don't want to work on at this point of time. Maybe that's something that, you can't solve 100 problems at once. I've heard, like, Zuckerberg has like 5 t-shirts, all in all, because there are only certain decisions that you can make in a day. There are only so many problems that you can solve in a day. So you need to understand that, okay, I get what you're saying. I appreciate your feedback, but I'll get to it. So your judgment has to come into play as well. And like you said, vulnerability is one thing, but I also feel it's about just understanding that, remove the tag wife, remove the tag of your partner. This is a human being. If you can see that human being for who that human being is, and think of her or him as a friend first, more than a wife or a partner, I think that level of friendship is what allows for all of these things to bloom.
Absolutely.
All these conversations to happen.
Yeah. So certifying Vishak Nair is indeed POOKIE.
Thank you, I guess.
So I remember you as a toddler. Okay, as an infant also. then toddler, preteen. Briefly, I met you during your teens. You were visiting
Yeah.
India at that time, and 2-3 times as an adult. Yeah, when you were about to go to NIT, and sometime later. But now I see this beautifully evolved man
Thank you.
who can talk about all these things and understands himself and is very aware and is growing on a spiritual level, I could say. So, what is spirituality according to you? Do you have any spiritual practices that you, uphold every day? Certain non-negotiables. I will pray before I eat, or whatever, or mindful living, whatever it is. Because I know in a profession like yours, it's very, very important to stay grounded and rooted and anchored to something, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can just go all over the
Yeah.
place, right?
Yeah.
So, talk about it, no?
No, I feel, okay, let me put it simply. Spirituality has, it's almost thought of as an icky word today, because it has this connotation of equating it with dogma. I'm not saying religion, I'm saying dogma. That's not what spirituality is to me. To me, it is simply being curious. Being curious about yourself, about the nature of reality, about the nature of why things happen the way things happen, but all of these questions, right? And that doesn't require you to have a certain spiritual practice. There is no right way or wrong way. I feel the essence of being spiritual is to constantly be asking questions. It is not to diss any faith, or it is not to say you're wrong and I'm right. No, that is not the essence of spirituality, because essentially it is about trying to understand the whole, the meaning of this all. And if that's not a question worth thinking about for you, then maybe not. But clearly I have a lot of free time on my hands, and clearly this question gives me meaning. And it's something that I find extremely interesting. Reading different schools of, let's say, philosophy, be it right from Plato and Aristotle to Christ, to Muhammad, to Gita, to the Vedas, to Jung, to Freud, and then coming at quantum physics and all of these things. It's not just one subject matter, right? So it's spirituality. Essentially, if you're asking questions, you're supposed to be asking questions about all of these things and trying to connect the dots and come up with, a theory of your own. You do the inquiry on your own. Don't follow X and Y, Z person just because you think that, you have the easy answer, is what I feel. I mean, take whatever you learn from everybody, but also constantly question yourself, constantly question your knowledge base, because that's the only way you learn and evolve as a human being, is what I feel. And to me, spirituality has really helped in calming myself down, in like you say, to center myself. Before every take, there is a moment where I, take a breath. I give my gratitude for being able to do what I'm doing. And I also, that's those 5 seconds is where I shut off the noise and I get back to being here, being there. There's a little prayer I say, and then I get into the take, and I feel that helps me. That helps my process as an actor. Even before any, specific activity, before this interview, I saw you take a moment. I saw myself take a moment. And I feel more than anything else, however you get there doesn't matter. But the point is that you get there. The point is that you forget about, okay, I have to buy chicken today on the way back. I have to do this, I have to do that. And just like be here now. And to focus on this moment, because this will never happen again. And I think that is the biggest strength, one of the biggest strengths of having some form of self-awareness. You can call it spirituality, you can call it, I don't know, let's not put a name on it. But having a method for you, specifically tailor-made to what works for you as an individual, is very important, I feel. And I think, it's not, no one has all the answers. I don't think anyone has all the answers. I think it's a lifelong quest. And I think that's the beauty of it. right? And you never know what new ideas might pop into your head. In fact, this journey, this spiritual journey, has been informing my craft, my storytelling, my personal relationships, my persona on and off the screen. It's made me calmer. It's made me a better human being. So why would I not do it?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that I think every person should have in their toolbox.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of calm, zen, being mindful, being present, being grounded, we are shooting this in June 2026, and it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, whole of June. I don't know if I'll be able to publish this right away. Maybe it might come in July, first week. I want you to talk about male friendships, quality friendships, having that boy gang, man tribe, brotherhood. Do you have people like that in your life? Do you have men with whom you can say, love you, bro, or
Yeah.
thank you for something that you did? Because you are an aware individual, you are a vulnerable man, you are okay to be expressive. So it might be even easier for you to do that. Do you see that happening around you as well?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, I do have a gang. I have gangs in Kochi and in Bangalore. And luckily, some of my friends are also all over the world. So, we reconnect once in a while. But I think the beauty of those conversations is that, there is genuine affection there. And that affection, like you said, I mean, I think over the course of this conversation, I'm also realizing how lucky and fortunate I am, because all of my boys, I can, tell them, I love you, and they won't think of it as anything
Cringe.
as cringe or dude, like, don't be like that. They wouldn't say that stuff. They would tell me I love you too, bro. Or we've hugged and we've cried and we've done those, we've had those moments. And then I don't think it makes us any less manly.
Yeah.
Because you should see our rowdy side. We can be very rowdy at times as well. But there are moments where we share silence together, where we share that moment together. It can be like over a chai and sutta. It could be over a walk. It could be over an online gaming session. It could be over a video call. It could be anything, right? But I'm very fortunate, I feel, to have a gang like that. I have boys here in Bombay, in the US, in Kochi, and I think it's needed. I think that especially because these are the ones that ground you. JJ, I use the word friend very selectively, like especially in recent years, because I hear people say, "Oh yeah, he's my friend." Yeah, she's my...
Oh, yeah.
No, I use that word very selectively. If I call you a friend, you mean something deeper than just a work
Tell me what
acquaintance.
all you mean when you say somebody is a friend.
I mean, I can, first and foremost, that I can trust you. Most importantly. Secondly, I can empathize with you. Thirdly, our values align on some very core level. Fourthly, if at all there are certain things that you and I have a difference of opinion on, we can talk about it and not burn bridges. We can agree to disagree. I think without these things, there's no point in telling someone you love them. I think this is the bedrock. I think this is the foundation on which love is then built. And I don't think that it's something organic. I don't think you meet someone, not organic. I would say like something that happens, like say, like a meet cute between boys where you see them and you're like, bro, you're my best friend. I'm your best friend. Yeah. No, I don't think that's how it happens. I have one friendship that started that way, and it's remained this way over 25 years, and he's in the US now. But people evolve, people change.
Yeah.
At the same time, I have friends who have drifted apart from, and that's okay. Life is lifing, I suppose. I don't know. That's what happens. But then when you do reconnect, when you talk for that half an hour or 1 hour, it feels like you just spoke yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a friend to me, and I think men need that. I think men need to be, again, you need to have your hunter-gatherer caveman tribe with you. You need to be monkeys once in a while.
Yeah.
Talk about the things that only men can talk about when men are chilling together. And it doesn't need to be, bitching and moaning. It can be constructive, it can be creative, it can be argumentative, and there's a beauty to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Related to friendship, Vishak, I want you to talk about mentorship also. How important it is for everyone to have a mentor, but as a man, to have someone lead the way, someone you can reach out to for expert advice, someone whom you can look up to. Do you have those kind of people also?
absolutely, absolutely, and I think it's very important. I think it gives you again perspective, because without a mentor, I feel you sometimes can get caught up in your own thoughts. Especially like for me, I can say personally, I'm an overthinker. If someone tells me something, or if I read something, or something happens, I will spend hours thinking about it if I don't have a method to center myself, like we spoke about earlier, or if I don't have people, trustworthy people who I can talk to about it. Again, I think I consider myself lucky to have found those people at different junctures of my life. Those father figures I spoke to you about,
Yeah.
they're like probably 2 or 3 or 4 years older to me. But I look at them as a father figure, because to them it is that same nurturing, comforting energy that they bring
Yeah.
to the table. These are the people whose good qualities that I want to emulate. And at the same time, these are people who are not afraid to be honest about their vulnerabilities, or about their, let's say, not so perfect parts of themselves as well. And they're not afraid to share their own stories of failure. And if that makes sense to me, okay, great. And you can learn from my failure. And I like to, whenever the opportunity presents itself, and whenever young filmmakers or actors come to me about, with their stories, or they want to talk to me about how to get into cinema or whatever it is, on some level it gives me some kind of joy to be able to share something with them. Not from this, self-aggrandizing points of view, but from a point of like, whatever, dude, I'm just sharing with you my experience. That's it. I'm not saying this is right or that is wrong and you should do this and you should do that. That is up for you to decide. All I can share with you is my experience, and be vulnerable with you, and give you the respect of my attention when you're talking to me. I have a few people like that, and I will always treasure and love and respect them for as long as I'm alive, and I owe a lot to them. I really do.
Can you call one of them your friend, mentor, anyone whom you feel is really close, and say love you or thank you?
Of course, why not? Hello.
Correct. What's up?
Listen, you're on speaker, so don't say anything obscene. Okay? Okay. All right. So I've been tasked with doing something. I'm sitting at a podcast, and I just wanted to tell you thank you, and that I love you, and I'm always rooting for you, and I know you are too. We're talking about men being intimate, and I don't want to get to the extremities of how intimate we've become, but
I don't think we can get any more intimate.
yeah. Like we've lived together, we've shared like a home together. We were basically married for 2-3 years. So this is Ganesh. Ganesh is Ganesh Etang to me, who gave me my break in cinema. He was also we were partners in crime for a couple of years as well. So today I'm with Maya Zamad. Swati Jagdish.
I'm not very familiar. I'm so sorry.
Wait, she's right here. You can say hi.
Hi, Ganesh. Yeah. So tell love you to Vishak back now. I want to just hear two men sharing love.
Absolutely. And we've never had any issues in sharing love.
Yeah.
Me and Vishak, most of our friends circle, to be honest, no, even if it's Roshan or any of us, we're always like very open about how much we love each other.
Yeah.
No, each the second or a chance that we get to actively go out of our way to let them know how much we love them also. So I think I think that's something that we've been very comfortable with for some reason, I think, for a long time.
Yep. All right. I love you. Talk soon.
I love you too. I love you too. Take care, and thank you so much for calling. That means a lot.
Okay, Uma. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was so sweet.
So yeah, I mean,
Nice. Good to end on that note. Vishak.
Thank you for having me. This has been very nice. I mean, we don't get to talk about these things every day.
Yeah.
And this has been very refreshing.
Yeah. I also got to know you a layer deeper. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Achu, for joining me today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I know the women will watch. I think I'll probably title it that Vishak Nair is a Pookie or something so that women watch it and they take it to the men. Because I'm really not sure whether the men will go ahead and watch it. So I want everyone to watch it. So I'll do whatever it takes to put whatever clickbait title I can so that they can watch it. And he's no less of a man just because he is vulnerable. That's all. End of story. Mic drop. Okay. So, guys, please comment what you think about the episode and then subscribe to the channel so that I can keep getting wonderful guests like Vishak and keep talking about all these important topics. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. Sending a lot of healing your way. Bye.